Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am your favorite dungeon dweller here in the dungeon that is the House of Pete. Now, this is Pillar to Post, and I've got a couple of guests tonight. We're going to do a little TakeOver Brooklyn 3 versus Summerslam. This is the official review from Pillar to Post. I am Pete Wall, as usual, and we've got Tyler Black here. How's it going, Tyler?
I am doing good, Pete.
And we've got Mark from Bomb Pop Overdrive. How's it going, Mark?
Good, sir.
Now, before we get into things, I'm going to take these fucking things off, toss them aside, and get right into the mix. Now, we're going to start off with NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I thought a standout show, a lot of hard-hitting matches. I did miss the opening match, however. It was Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega in his corner, as usual. Now, does anyone know the reason for the name change of Thea Trinidad to Zelina Vega?
That I couldn't tell you.
No. I thought it was just kind of out of the blue. I've noticed it the last couple of weeks when Mauro Ranallo was announcing her. It was no longer Thea Trinidad. But I'm going to let you guys clue me in on what happened with this match, because I've heard many things. It wasn't that good of a match. It was a pretty damn good match. So I'm going to let you guys tell me how this match went.
Well, with this with the Gargano and Cien Almas match, there were a lot of good moves. It was a little bit hard hitting.
Now, Mark, you were telling me before the show started that you really enjoyed this match, except for the ending.
I did. However, my little thing is that I'm a little biased just because I've followed Almas for quite some time. However, just looking at the match itself, it was really good. It was very fast paced. There was a lot of back and forth. A lot of kind of like counter versus counter. Like, it was just very back and forth. The only thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was the ending, and that was what's her new name again?
Zelina
Vega.
Yeah, Vega basically threw a DIY shirt at Gargano and caused him to get distracted and get pinned. So I thought that wasn't really necessary. They could have put over Almas, a little better than that. However, I do think that with the addition of the manager and then the way the match went, especially a win over Gargano, he's like not just some no-name chump. That kind of indicates that there's a push coming for Almas.
Yeah, I'm actually liking that idea because I do like his wrestling style. Now, I haven't followed him like you have. I got to know him in NXT. And you can see he's got a very talented and skillful style. Very impactful as well. And It's good to see that that's starting to come about. Now, I didn't think Johnny Gargano, they were going to have him win yet, because it is basically his first match as a singles wrestler in NXT. And it kind of looks like they're going to build him up as an underdog. I don't totally agree with that kind of move for him, but I see it getting over with the fans.
Right.
So up next was the Sanity tag team match for the NXT tag title. Sanity versus Authors of Pain. Now, this I caught halfway through, and I really liked it from what I seen. There's a lot of high impact moves, a lot of just all over chaos. You had Nikki Cross interfering. You had, what's his name, Killian Dane interfere. It was just balls out war between these two teams. So it was really good to see. Now, Sanity ended up taking the win. And I'm going to go in further after what went on after the match. But, you guys probably caught the entire match. And I don't know what all went down. It sounded like they were Sanity was trading out wrestlers throughout the match.
No, apparently what happened was, and forgive me because I'm not a huge NXT guy. I follow it, every now and again.
Yeah.
one of the members of Sanity never tagged in, and I believe it's oh God, what's his name? Well, who's the leader of Sanity?
Oh, Eric Young.
Yeah, Eric
Yes,
Young.
Eric Young made the tag on, I like Tyler said, Killian Dane, who hadn't made a tag at all up to that point. So according to however it went down, the tag was okay because, Killian Dane was never officially tagged into the match.
Okay.
So from that point forward, though, Eric was now the guy in the match.
Yeah, which I thought was strange because I assumed it was Killian Dane and Wolf, Alexander Wolf, being the tag team to take on Sanity, but it all got switched around, kind of like last minute deal. But I have to say it was a great match, like intense, a lot of brutal beatdowns. But after the match is when the big story hit, and we had Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly come in and attack both teams, not just Sanity, but they wiped the floor with Authors of Pain as well, declaring that they were now a new tag team, I guess, in NXT.
Yep, even going so far as to raise the belts.
Yes, and kind of rubbing Sanity's face in it a little bit at the end by raising the titles up and basically stating that they're coming for the titles. I really dig that because seeing Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly face Aleister Black, I got to know them a little bit more as a singles wrestler and how they work, and they're very, very physical, very much like a strikers type team. They rely on the striking maneuvers, and I love that style, especially the way these two work in the ring, and seeing them as a tag team. I kind of dig that. Two strikers teaming up like that. I don't know. It's going to go a long way in NXT.
They've been tag teams everywhere they went.
Yeah, I heard that. Like, I didn't know them from a hole in the wall before NXT, like, before they debuted. I know they were in Ring of Honor, but I don't get to watch Ring of Honor anymore, so... Now, the match that really interested me here, besides Asuka versus Ember Moon, was Hideo Itami and Aleister Black, because I knew these two were going to put on a striker-style match. There wasn't going to be any, not very much technical moves, but there was going to be a lot of striking, a lot of chops, a lot of kicks, and a lot of maneuvers that we weren't going to expect. And to see these two battle it out the way they did, it was thrilling to me. I love that kind of style of fighting. It's a lot of martial arts, a lot of just in your face type brawl matches, and Aleister Black has been on a roll. I didn't do any previews and prediction shows this week because I've been a very busy guy, but for the most part, NXT turned out quite a bit the way I thought it would. Aleister Black did take the win here. Now, me, like I said, I'm into the striking matches. Two strikers going one-on-one, I love it. We've seen Aleister Black get... I think it was the toughest match we've seen him in since he's gotten into NXT.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of crazy stuff going on in this match, man. The charge at the end, and the Black Mass almost decapitating a Tommy man.
Oh, it was beautiful.
That was insane.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah. No, I actually went and watched it over again today because the match was just off the hook. These guys brutalized each other, and you could see there was a lot of physicality in this match. And I think it was basically to kind of push Aleister Black just a little bit further up the totem pole. And it did that in a big way. Beating Hideo Itami is not a small feat, especially in NXT or in any company. Hideo Itami has been just off the hook everywhere he's been. And it's kind of sad to see that he's kind of on a downward spiral in NXT. I'm hoping that isn't going to stay a trend, though. Because the guy is very talented, and he shouldn't be put down on the card, as basically mid-card or a jobber. I don't want to see that happen to him.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Oh, definitely.
Now, up next was the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka going up against Ember Moon again, a rematch, which a lot of people have been waiting. And these are like two of the hottest chicks right now in NXT. And I believe the most talented in all of WWE at the moment. Like, we've discussed this off air before with each other. And I think we all have kind of come to agreement that what these women do in NXT is far above what they're giving us on the main card.
Absolutely, dude. I think these two and the match that they put on puts pretty much everyone on the main roster to shame. All the females on the main roster.
Oh, definitely. You look at the women's matches tonight on SummerSlam and you compare them to just this one match from NXT TAKEOVer. These women blew the doors right off of the women on the main roster. I don't see why Asuka's still in NXT. Right now, I'd have her go up to the main card undefeated. You know, drop the title in NXT. Have her just legit drop it. Have a tournament with the women you got. And then, you know, have Asuka come up to the main card and school the women of the main roster.
I agree. I'm one to be on that mindset of her debuting undefeated. However, I'm not necessarily sure that I would like to see her drop it just like that. I mean, it would be kind of cool to see her show up on the main roster with the title.
Well, yeah, that could be done too. And basically have it so that way, if she does become the women's champion of the main roster, then she's got to give up the NXT title or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but it was a beautiful match. These women really put their body through the ringer, and we've seen this from Nikki Cross as well as Ruby Riott. When they get in a match, these women of NXT get in a match, they put it all out there, and I love seeing that from the women because you don't get to see it on the main roster at all. You know,
no, because they're watered down.
Exactly.
Basically, while on SmackDown, they water down their women, and it's freaking pathetic. NXT, they go all at it. They go all out for the fans.
Now, I kind of thought that they'd let Asuka retain and continue her undefeated streak. I figured that was going to happen, but I was really kind of hoping for an Ember Moon win as well because I don't want to see her spotlight start to fade either because not only is she beautiful, she is a tough woman on the show. No. And
like I said, I hope.
Yeah. And lastly,
I hope it's not the same.
Lastly, was the NXT Championship match: Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre. Another great match.
The money-making match.
Yes, and now if I would have done my preview and prediction show, I would have got this match right actually because I was actually rooting for Drew McIntyre to take the win here. I love Bobby Roode and all. But I think it's time that they bring him up to the main roster because he isn't going to get any younger. You know, he's at that age. He's, 35 years old now, maybe a little bit older. It's time to bring him up to the main roster because I think they could really use someone with that kind of charisma on the main roster. As long as he's handled properly.
That's my biggest concern, man. I love Bobby Roode to death, and I'm just so scared of what would happen to him if he hit the main roster.
Like, he's got all the talent there to be one of their top draws, definitely. Not
Absolutely.
just in NXT, but on the main roster. And
he's like, I say he's like Triple H in some ways.
Yes, he's got a lot of those mannerisms and kind of style, but he's got a little bit more charisma than I believe than what Triple H has. He's kind of got across a little bit of what's his name, Ric Flair mixed with like a little bit of Ric Flair mixed with a little bit of Triple H and a lot of himself in there, and I think it's a good combination for him. Now we all knew this was going to be a physical match. You know, these guys met before away from WWE, and I was really looking forward to see Drew McIntyre. And I still wish they would go by his other name, but we're not going to get it. But was really hoping that they'd really give him the push here because they really pushed him on his first time in WWE, and then kind of just took the ball away from him and let him just drop and put him in ridiculous spots on the main card. So it's good to see him back in WWE. And like I said, it was a hard-hitting match, and it was Drew McIntyre that would take the win here over Bobby Roode, which kind of surprised me in a way, but it's what I was hoping for. What did you guys see in this match for yourselves?
Oh, yeah, this was a great match.
No thoughts on the match itself, though, besides it being great there, Tyler?
Oh, I enjoyed the match. It was back and forth, hard hitting. Drew McIntyre hit Claymore a couple times.
Yep.
And he hit Claymore twice, and Bobby Roode hit the glorious DDT twice. He was trying to go for that third one, but out of nowhere, Claymore, boom, it was over.
I did love that part, and seeing it being ended with the Claymore was pitch perfect for me. Why not end it on a high note? You know, let the guy move with his finisher, take the belt. Now, what are Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish being called? Is it Red Dragon or Re-Dragon?
They're called Red Dragon.
Red Dragon, okay. Because I couldn't quite hear over the noise. My kids got a little bit loud during this match, but great match. And after the match, we got the biggest surprise. The rumors were out there. We were all expecting him to show up. But to align himself with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, that was a big thing for me. I kind of dig that. Adam Cole appears after the match. McIntyre turns around and goes face to face with Adam Cole, gets attacked. Fish and O'Reilly hold up McIntyre, and Cole super kicks him. Fish and Cole and O'Reilly stand over McIntyre's fallen carcass, which I like to say. But it was a good surprise. It was good. It was a rumor that was going about. Everyone was excited about it and waiting for it. So it wasn't a big surprise that he was there, but it was good to see that they went through with it.
Yeah, I was looking forward. Go ahead, Tyler.
I heard somebody said that their faction's gonna be called Dishonored. That's what somebody commented in one of the videos. Dishonored.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, the debut of Adam Cole was just off the chain, man. I was going absolutely crazy when I saw it. And I do believe it is some sort of a what I think is we're going to be looking at some sort of like Ring of Honor-ish type faction. And I mean, damn, dude, I couldn't be more excited about it. But the match itself, though, and I didn't get to chime in on this, the match itself for me was absolutely incredible. Everything that I had expected, I mean, that was given to me tenfold, man. I mean, the match, you can see so much intensity within like the personalities of both characters. It was a very like just passionate match. It was just incredible, dude. The finish was great. The timing of Cole's arrival was perfect. And I mean, dude, you can't really tell, not really tell, but you can't really deny just how popular someone like Adam Cole is, especially with one, the reaction he got, two, the ovation he got at the end of the night, and how loud the crowd chanted along with him when he said Adam Cole baby.
Yeah. Well, you know, and what I thought was really off the hook was the fans were ecstatic to see Drew McIntyre win the title. But that pop right after that, they seen Adam Cole. It was so much more than what McIntyre even achieved. And even though everyone knew the rumors that he was coming and he should be at TakeOver Brooklyn, the rumors are rumors, you know. And a lot of times you assume that the rumors are correct. You end up looking like an ass. But the ovation and the pop that he received was just phenomenal, and it made a perfect ending to TakeOver. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better finish for the show.
Yeah, TakeOver itself was just an incredible event.
Yeah,
beginning to end.
Like I'm gonna have to go back and watch the Gargano match. I haven't taken the time to do that. I was so busy today as it was. I got to rewatch the one match, and that's all I got to do. But unbelievable, and you know, when I look at what went down on NXT, the few matches that they had, they only have like 5-6 matches on their pay-per-views, which I kind of dig. It's not 4 hours of trying to keep your eyes open because the first half of the pay-per-view just blows, and it's always high impact. You know, it's more about the wrestling and more about the storytelling inside the ring as well as outside the ring, like it was back in the old school days. And we're not seeing that from the main roster, and that's kind of, you know, it's kind of just veering me away from the main roster. I'm starting to just get to the point I don't want to cover the main roster anymore. I just want to deal with NXT and do the reviews because I'm having a hard time staying awake through Raw. SmackDown has been almost as bad as Raw has been lately. And then you get NXT and you get everything that you asked for in a wrestling show. And just not enough matches, though, you know?
Yeah.
Now, tonight was SummerSlam. And before we get into talking about the show, what did you guys think? What show did you prefer overall? Was it TakeOver Brooklyn or was it SummerSlam?
I prefer TakeOver.
SummerSlam could not achieve any of the greatness that TakeOver did. TakeOver by far was better.
Like there were some title changes I had to agree with. The Usos winning the title belts, I agreed with that. And for a pre-show kickoff show match was a phenomenal tag team match. I actually enjoyed it. And then we went into the main show, and I started getting drowsy-eyed because I started getting bored right away. You know, it's like you go for a big match. I still don't understand why the Usos and the New Day were relegated to the kickoff show. It didn't make any sense to me.
I agree with that. I don't know. I don't understand how a match like Cass and Big Show would wind up on the main card, whereas not one but two title matches get bumped down to the pre-show.
Yeah. But getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, the kickoff show did start the very first match with The Miz and his Miztourage going up against the Hardy Boys and what's-his-face, Jason Jordan. And I knew right away what they were going to do. You know, the Hardy Boys and Jason Jordan went over on them on Raw, so they were going to have a rematch, and it was going to be Miz and Miztourage. Now, I missed this match. I didn't catch a single minute of it. And I'm kind of happy I did. But did either of you guys watch it?
I did not. I did not catch any of the pre-show.
Well,
I didn't get none of the pre-show.
Yeah, I'm kind of figuring it went the same way I think it would have. You know, the Miz and his Miztourage won. But I mean, like, it was probably done underhand tactics, and it was just like the same thing we've usually been seeing from Miz and his crew.
Oh, yeah.
I missed the Cruiserweight Championship match, but I found out that Neville did win his title back, which makes no sense to me because why have him drop it on Raw only to gain it back? You know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I've come to know this as kind of normal with WWE and switching titles back and forth like that. They play hot potato with the titles a lot.
Exactly, and the way I
That's
look at
where the
Neville,
women's.
what was that there, Tyler?
Especially when they did it with the women's title between Charlotte and Sasha.
Oh, that was terrible, man. That was just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But what I see from Neville. They've had him do his run in 205 Live. That's all good and well. He's changed his career around. He's no longer the man that gravity forgot. He is one badass heel. And he does it really well. And I could see him being on the main card as a legit U.S. or Intercontinental Champion. You know, he's got the talent for it. He's got the He's got the promos for it now. He's totally different now. I don't know why they're not ready to pull the trigger on this guy and give him a main roster shot and really push him this time around. Makes no sense to me.
I agree. I don't know. I mean, but see, the thing that a lot of people have to realize is the misuse of a lot of talent, and it's kind of, you know, very standard with a lot of talent. There's so many guys that I've seen that I'm like, this guy's ready, and they just keep underutilizing so much great talent. And absolutely, dude, Neville is one of those.
Yeah, it's like they give him a cruiserweight title just to kind of make him happy, so he doesn't push for a bigger run or something. You know, that's kind of what it seems like to me. You know, it's like, well, we'll let him be a cruiserweight champion and so on. And you've got so many talented cruiserweights that could carry that title and make it just as interesting as Neville is, but they don't give him a shot. You know, it sickens me.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, I did catch... What was that, Tyler?
I said absolutely.
I did catch the Usos versus New Day, and I have to say that one was just off the hook. I did not understand for a single moment why this should have been on the kickoff show. They went balls to the wall really fucking quick in this match, and they put on a great show, and I have to say it's one of my favorites of the night. You know, when it comes to what they did in that ring, how they went through it all, seeing the Usos take out Kofi Kingston, who wasn't even involved in the match, just ram him head first into the steel steps. It was just beautiful, you know, and it really brings that whole badass kind of gimmick that the Usos have taken on. You know, they are no longer, you know, let's paint our faces up and make everyone, you know, smile and be happy. They're out there kicking ass, and that's exactly what they did. But the New Day actually performed a lot better than they have been for me, actually, in quite a while. Now, I don't know if you guys caught any of these matches on the kickoff show, but this is the one I love the most.
I did not, but I'm definitely going to have to rewatch it. Go back and watch it.
What I love seeing was the way the finish went on. You seen the Usos do their double tag team splash off the top ropes. But what they did was they took out Kofi Kingston as well as Big E on the outside, threw in Xavier Woods, and just took him out in a big way. They finished it off with that double... well, each of them gave a single super kick, and then they finished off with that double super kick to each side of the head, and then went up top, hit the double splash. It was just beautiful. Usos took the titles back, which I love seeing, because I didn't understand why the New Day needed a title right off the hop when they came to SmackDown. There's no storyline behind it, nothing behind it, and this made more sense to me.
Right on.
John Cena defeats Baron Corbin. I didn't like seeing it. I actually missed the match. I started dozing off through it. It's your typical John Cena match, and he took on Baron Corbin, who no longer is Mr. Money in the Bank. I don't know how the match finished, but maybe you guys can clue me in.
This was
see this match either.
Yeah, this was a match I didn't catch, but I've got to say, man, I just don't understand how they didn't give this to Baron Corbin.
I really don't.
It's just, you know, it's one of those things where they put Cena to kind of screw Corbin out of the opportunity. So you would assume, you know, okay, Corbin's going to be fucking pissed.
Yeah, he'd get his revenge and redemption, and, you know, he'd move on to bigger and better.
Yeah, this pushes him further down. You know, it's almost, and I hate to say it, it's almost as if he's just being buried slowly.
It does. It really came off that way, especially when my wife told me that Corbin lost. It's like, how the hell could they do that?
And if he is, I mean, it's just way too soon, man. They never even gave him a chance to flourish.
No, they haven't. They haven't given him a single chance. You know, they let him win the Mr. Money. They let him become Mr. Money in the Bank. They have him cash it in on a Raw, and then get screwed out of it. And it's like a repeated process. Every time they give him an inch, they remove a mile from his progress. And I don't I don't see how that makes sense with his career or the trajectory of where he should be.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't get this either. Why? And I said this on my preview predictions. You guys were in the chat when I said I thought Baron Corbin would be a legit badass, and he got pissed off and would take it out on Cena. But I don't get why fucking Vince and the creative team want to bury Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is a gold-gloved boxer, or was a gold-gloved boxer, and I don't get it.
Yeah, he just oozes potential, man. Just oozes it, and to just see how they take someone like this, they molded him so perfectly in NXT. He was very good on the onset, but just, you know, it's like they slowly just kind of have him just becoming more and more like less of a, less of a. What am I trying to say? You know, like he's getting shittier.
Yeah. he should be he should be a monster, legit badass on SmackDown.
And it's not his fault though. It's not his fault. It's Vince and the stupid creative team.
Yeah, and the rumor that I heard was, and I quote, losing faith in Corbin already, and it's like already, like this fucking soon, this soon. You know, the poor guy hasn't even gotten a chance to fucking flourish yet, and these guys are just the decisions, man. The WWE logic, man. I just don't get it.
It makes absolutely no sense to anybody watching, and I guarantee there's a lot of podcasters out there just screaming at the top of their lungs about this match, because it should have been the destruction of John Cena tonight. It really should have been. Now, I missed the match, like I said, but it should have been a total annihilation.
Yeah.
But we get this. Up next, and I missed this whole match, which I kind of hate. Natalya Neidhart up against, what's her name again?
Naomi.
I missed the entire match. I really wanted to catch this one because I am a big fan of Natalya Neidhart, because I know the talent she's got. I know that she's been going through a long slump in WWE. And yeah, her promos can be really cringe at times, but the body of work that this woman can put on in the ring and the talent she has, she's got more talent than a lot of the women have on the roster, yet you don't see her having the women's championship. And when I found out she actually won it, I was very happy for her. But at the same time, it's like, okay, where they go from here, though, you know. I still think Naomi needs a little bit more work, and I think that's why they were holding her off so much on actually defending her title before the pay-per-view. But she's athletic, she's great in the ring, but I still think she does need a lot more work.
I was okay with the outcome. I'm not too big on Naomi. Never have been.
Except for her ass.
Except for us. It's glorious, man.
No, it is.
I mean, she's okay. I've never really enjoyed a lot of her in-ring work, especially against people who work really well. Yeah, exactly. And today was one of those cases. You've got someone, and I think Natalya has been held down for quite some time, man, and it was very unfair to see her, having to just kind of be on the bottom level while people like Charlotte and Becky and all these other people were just trading the titles back and forth. She belonged in that picture. She definitely belonged in that picture. And yeah, she, like you said, as far as like her work ethic and all that, she is really good and very good at what she does. And I think we've talked about this before in the past about her skill level. I mean, the woman trains in catch as catch can. She
Yep.
She trains in catch wrestling. She trains in BJJ, from what I understand. Like she's really like she's a really hard worker, and you see it in her matches.
Yeah,
she's very technical, and that's something that you don't really see a lot from a lot of women. And to put that shit on in the ring, I mean, dude, fucking gold.
Like I've always been a big fan of the Hart Foundation, the Hart family. Jim Neidhart, he had a great sense of humor, powerhouse of a man, and Natalya has that. Like for a woman, she's got a lot of power in her. Like you said, a lot of catch wrestling, so many other talents as well. Very technical and a sound wrestler in the ring. And to watch a woman like that be held down for so long, I'm very happy she did win the title. I'm going to have to watch that match again because, like I said, I slept right through it. I was so tired. And it not only because I was bored and a little bit tired of that first match with John Cena, like lack of sleep and so busy lately, everything's just kind of catching up to me and I couldn't stay awake. But I did wake up for our next match and I wish I would have slept right through it. This match should have been on the kickoff show. Big Cass versus Big Show with little old Enzo up above in a shark cage. This whole fucking match didn't make a hill of sense. I could have cared less for it. Like I said, should have been on the kickoff show. This match, man, I wish it would have just put me right back into a coma because it was ridiculous. You know, you got Enzo shouting from the top of, or from the shark cage the entire match, screaming down at Big Cass, and then all of a sudden he sees Big Show in trouble, and he's whipping out bottles of lube and lubing up so he can squeeze through the goddamn bars. What happens when he gets out? He gets ragdolled all over again. Big boot right to the face. Done. And then the demise of Big Show, like everyone knew would happen. He's there to put over Big Cass. Could have been done at the pre-show. Your thoughts? Or did I speak enough for everyone?
Oh, definitely, definitely. That match should have been on the pre-show.
Can we just skip?
Yeah, I agree. Total garbage.
It was incredibly underwhelming. Incredibly underwhelming.
But I do have to say our next match was the biggest waste of time throughout the entire fucking SummerSlam.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Randy Orton versus Rusev. I
don't get this match.
Give me a
why they fucking buried Rusev. Why would they bury this guy?
Like, he is the Bulgarian brute, you know? He's supposed to be this fucking monster heel. He actually was supposed to be in Mahal's place. But that, you know, his injury, not there now. But comes out, annihilates Randy Orton from a blindsided attack, throws Randy Orton back in the ring, beats on him a little bit more. The ref finally pulls him off. Randy's supposedly recovering, pulls himself back up on his feet. Bam, all done. RKO, end of the match. Fucking-ridiculous. Like, garbage.
Yeah, the outcome of this match is on par with Cena Corbin. You know, someone older putting or someone younger rather putting over a talent that's already, you know, old and stale.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess he's over, but yeah, for me, he's just very stale. And I don't see, you know, there was zero build to this feud. You can tell that there was like very little effort into this build. And I believe that carried into the match because, I mean, it lasted less than a minute.
Yep, it was. It was
so a minute.
And at this, I mean, we're talking squash territory here, man.
It was a total squash. You know, yeah, there was that blindsided attack by Rusev, but that was only like a couple of minutes, and then the match officially starts. One RKO, it's all over. And to me, this should have been a match where Rusev got built up and given a push.
Absolutely, and just like the previous mention about Corbin and Cena, you have someone who's been struggling for quite some time still not get a victory where a victory was very much needed.
Yeah, definitely agree. Like I said, this one was a waste of time. I don't even know why they had it on the show if this is what they had planned for it. At this point, I'd actually like to see Rusev leave WWE, go to like Japan, get into like IWGP or New Japan Pro Wrestling, build himself up over there, or Ring of Honor or whatever. But the way they're treating him in WWE, I can't understand how he's putting up with it. I really don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's because of the money. It's because of the money, and this match it's BS. Like Rusev, they should have built him to be a monster in this match. But these two, they had no matches scheduled for them, so they just booked each other. So.
Yep. Now our next match, I missed this one completely because I fell asleep real quick after this one or during this one. I got as far as Sasha Banks entering the ring and playing her music so long. And I fell
this
asleep
match,
through her
I know
entrance
piss
music.
Mark off.
But
This match,
Alexa Bliss, the woman with the best ass in the business,
Oh God, yes.
and going up against Sasha Banks for the women's title, and I knew they were going to have Sasha Banks go over. I'm kind of happy I missed the match because I didn't want to see that happen to begin with, because Alexa Bliss has so much more character and possibilities and potential with her than Sasha Banks does. We've seen the hot potato bit between her and Charlotte and Bayley, and it was just disgusting. And now she's got the women's title again for the fifth fucking time.
yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to see it. I want to see Alexa Bliss actually keep on, being built up more with the women's title in hand. So,
But do we see when Bayley comes back? Do we see her cost Sasha and officially turns heel on her?
I don't know. I really don't. They're afraid to pull the trigger on a lot of potential good turns. I don't know. Now I didn't see this, so I'll let you guys clue me in on what went down during this match, if you guys would like, or do I just pass it on?
I mean, the match itself was okay. Both women really put a lot into it. You could tell the effort was there. However, personally, I disagreed with giving Sasha the belt. Alexa is by far one of the best heels in the company in quite some time. The finish was okay. I wasn't too big on having Alexa tap. However, I am also kind of interested in seeing what Bayley thinks now, considering that, Banks kind of,
Cashed in her opportunity.
Stowed the spotlight, pretty much.
Yeah,
stowed
absolutely.
the spotlight.
I would love to see them pull the trigger. Either one, Sasha Banks or Bayley go heel. I would like to see Bayley go heel because it would put her in a more mature role. And I think it would go a long way to improve her star power with the fans, especially because right now she's kind of like Randy Orton. She's stale. The whole, dream thing that she's got going, living the dream. It's okay. You know what? You became a women's champion. You were a star on WrestleMania. Okay, you've done that. The dream has been achieved. Now grow up. That's what I want to see.
Totally.
I agree with that.
Agree with that 100%.
Now, I wasn't sure about this match because of the way they built it up. The next match was the Demon King, Finn Balor, versus Bray Wyatt. And I did catch this match. I thought they could have done a little bit more with the match. It was kind of like a generic match of both these guys, They didn't really deviate from the norm. And I could have seen it going a lot more violent. It's supposed to be demon versus God, and it got finished the way I thought. Finn Balor was going to hit the coup de grace, But just they're really watering down Wyatt on Raw. I really wish they'd return him back to SmackDown because he was so much more interesting.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. This match is Willie wasn't Willie, no build to it.
No. And it really didn't do anything to really push either of them into a bigger role on Raw. It didn't really push them any further up the ladder. And which a match like this should have been there for. Finn Balor is still an undefeated Universal Champ. You don't see him being thrust into that spotlight. You don't see him fighting the main eventers. You see him fighting the same guy, which is Bray Wyatt, or someone lower. And to me, I don't understand that reasoning, because you get a guy that, wins your biggest title on the show, gets injured, doesn't lose the title but relinquishes it, and comes back and he's not in the same star power as he was when he left. Makes absolutely no sense.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, Finn should have got his rematch for the Universal title and probably win it back. But no, they're basically, like they do with the other ones, water them down until they just want to leave.
Did you care for the match at all, Mark?
I'd like to have. I'd like to be able to say I did see it, but no, I didn't.
Well, you didn't miss much. It was like your basic Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt matches. All the same moves that were always done in their matches were achieved here. You didn't see the excuse me. You didn't see the Sister Abigail. It was attempted, but it was always countered by Finn Balor. And then you seen the same, running drop kick into the corner and into the barrier. You've seen the coup de grace. You've seen, the double stomp. It was your basic match.
Generic type match, yeah. Pretty much a stale type match.
Another match that made no sense. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins being thrust back together as the tag team and given a title shot for no reason against Cesaro and Sheamus. Now, I only caught half of this match, and, it wasn't a bad match. I kind of figured it would end up being Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins taking the titles because you're going to get the fans popping over it. But, when a match doesn't have a proper story behind it, it kind of falls flat, and that's what this match did for me. I don't know about you guys, but it didn't give me any kind of thrill.
Yeah, this match, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
yeah,
fine. I'll go. Oh my god.
Yeah, this match fell apart. There really was no build to it, except the past couple weeks with the Shield reunion, and yeah, this basically was no build. But I predicted what would happen. Dean and Seth Rollins becoming the champs, so it's really not a surprise.
I can't look at this as a Shield reunion because Roman was a part of the Shield,
exactly.
And the three and all three members have kind of moved on to like their own unique personalities, far from what they represented in the Shield. So when I see them together, I don't see the Shield. The match itself was okay. I think one of the coolest things that happened was apparently Cesaro had ripped up a beach ball that was getting thrown around.
Yes, I did catch that. I did catch
yeah,
that.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Cesaro getting some cool heat on himself.
Yeah, I kind of dig what he did because they were throwing the beach ball around and it was kind of detracting from the match.
That was funny.
So he just heads out into the stands for just absolutely just out of the blue, no reason at all, and just grabs his beach ball and just shreds it with his bare hands. It was nice to see. It was really good. And it kind of added back to, hey, pay attention to what's going on in the ring. We're putting on a pretty good fight here, which they did. Like you said, Mark, the match wasn't bad. It just, there was nothing there to really connect us to it. And a match needs to be able to connect with the fans. And this one, to me, did not do it.
Absolutely.
Like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. There you go. But the match I was waiting for, because I knew it was going to be a little bit on the stupid side, but it was going to be hard hitting as well. AJ Styles, the United States Champion, taking on Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. And I knew there was going to be shenanigans played, especially with Shane being a special guest referee. He was going to be in the wrong spot. He was always going to be too close, or, he was going to get pulled into Kevin Owens so that way he'd get hurt and stuff like that. Everything went down as I thought. But the match itself, it was a great fight between Owens and AJ Styles. These guys always put on a great show for everyone, and I appreciate that from them. And from this point on, I was like wide awake through the rest of the show because I wanted to see what was actually going to go on. The rest of the show, I didn't really give a flying fuck about. So what were your guys' thoughts on this match? Like, did it live up to expectations, or did it?
Oh yeah, definitely. This match lived up to its expectations because, like you said, Kevin Owens would get in Shane's face, but with AJ Styles doing the 450, which landed where Kevin Owens pushed Shane into the 450 splash.
And if you would have seen it, if you caught it like I did, it was more AJ Styles' knees landing on Shane's back than his stomach. Because he didn't quite straighten himself out in time in order to connect with Shane there. So he got double kneed right in the back. That's got to kill. But, we've seen the Styles clash, 2 or 3 times. We've seen the pop-up powerbomb a few times. And it was like back and forth throughout the whole match. And it made it a whole hell of a lot more interesting than what we've seen throughout the rest of SummerSlam. And that's what I like about these two. These guys are going to go balls to the wall and give the fans what they should be giving them instead of a stale rehash match that we've seen many times before. And we've seen these guys fight a lot already. It's just each time they face each other, it's always kind of a different match that they have. And I appreciate about that. AJ Styles is your retaining U.S. champ. What were your thoughts on this match, Mark?
Dude, you can't ask for more from guys like Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, dude. The two of them alone can just put on a show. And dude, these two had an excellent match. I was probably, like some people, a little concerned about adding Shane to like kind of, ruin the quality of the match, but it didn't really do that.
No, it was kind of added a little bit more to it, and
yes, it did. Yes, it did, especially with both guys kind of being able to interact with Shane.
Yeah,
and that way, with both of them having their close calls, it didn't seem one-sided. But the outcome was great. I love that AJ Styles retained. And actually, to be really honest with you, I would not mind one more match between these two.
No, I wouldn't either. I like seeing these guys. I could see them fight like almost every week in some ways because they always switch things up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Now, what I was getting a little bit concerned about was how often Shane was getting in the way and how obvious it looked every single time. But like you said, it didn't detract from the action at all. It added a little bit more to it, and yes, it was most of the time was very obvious what Shane was doing, but I'm really hoping this isn't going to be some kind of end up being some kind of feud between him and Kevin Owens, and then they have a match like AJ Styles and him did. I really don't want to see that from Shane McMahon anymore.
Same here, but I swear, man, it looks so much like that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, probably one of the best matches for singles matches. This was the match, pretty well the match of the night. The main event was pretty damn good too. I actually liked seeing Brock Lesnar actually take some bumps, but we're going to head there soon. Up next was Jinder Mahal taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. And, I love Shinsuke. He wrestles good. That hard-hitting style he's got, it really, the strong style, it really appeals to me. But I don't know, when it doesn't matter who it is that faces Mahal, um, it just doesn't get me to gravitate towards the match as much. It wasn't a bad match on Shinsuke's part. Jinder Mahal's got to learn to pick up the speed a little bit. It would make the matches so much more interesting because it kind of made the match, on my part, feel a little bit flat.
I feel exactly the same way. I love Shinsuke to death, but this match did not do anything for him.
No, it didn't.
And yeah, I think working with Mahal kind of just proved that, like the match to me felt, like you said, flat and somewhat slow. It just, I remember, being on a live stream earlier during this match and actually starting to yawn and get really tired.
Yes, I was doing
this is when it started happening. This match did not do anything for me. And the fact that Jinder retained just kind of made me a little more disappointed.
What I don't understand, throughout his entire reign, he's had these two little elves at the ring beside him.
That's a point. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's a point that I made as well during that discussion. Was every time he wins or retains his title, it is because of help from someone else. Yeah. He has yet to defend that title one-on-one, like just by himself.
And that's the part that's really pissing me off, because if you want, like, hell, Macho Man didn't always have someone helping him out in a match when he was a heel and a champ. Ric Flair didn't always have help. Yes, he would use the heel tactics, do the low blows and stuff, but you expect that from a heel. Now, I wouldn't have mind seeing him, deliver a low blow and get the victory that way, but always having these two little fucking chipmunks enter the ring and, help him out, it's getting tiresome. And you start wondering why they chose him as a champion.
Yep.
I totally agree with that. Like, Jinder Mahal, he's slow. He's basically probably a slow, methodical type wrestler. Likes to be at his speed.
Yeah, but see, even Undertaker, he was slow and methodical, but he could pick up the speed, and he could hang
definitely
with a guy that was, like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was about speed and endurance. And when facing a guy like that, Undertaker could pick things up as well. And you're supposed to be, when you're in the wrestling business, especially pro wrestling, you need to adapt to each wrestler so that way you can put on a better show. And Mahal does nothing. He's, like you said, he's all about bringing the match to a slower pace and being more methodical. And frankly, it makes for a boring match. And I felt bad for Shinsuke in this match.
Absolutely, I did too.
I did too. Like, totally. Like you guys said, this match did nothing for Shinsuke whatsoever. And it's not his fault. It's the type of wrestler he was facing.
Yeah. Now, the match that surprised me the most of tonight, because I didn't expect Brock Lesnar to take as many bumps as he did. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe in a fatal four-way match for the Universal title. And everyone assumed Brock Lesnar was going to lose and he was going to go off to UFC, but he did retain the title. Now, we've seen Braun Strowman get lacerated with that steel steps. I thought it was a very piss-poor job of Roman Reigns, the way he grabbed that steel step. He didn't even try and turn it around so that way he wasn't delivering a nastier bump than what he did. He just full-out blasted Braun Strowman with the corner of that step, and looked like it didn't really, he didn't really give a shit about it. And you got the guy bleeding, which I don't mind seeing blood in wrestling. I love it. I miss it. But to not be safe with your opponent in the ring is a big, big bad and a big no-no in the wrestling business. And I don't know if Roman's going to hear from it, but, it is what it is. But we've seen a lot of impact moves here from everybody. Brock got speared through the barrier, got two power slams through the announce tables, and then one dumped right up on him, get carried out on a stretcher. It was beautiful to see. But in the end, he comes back, and I figured, even my wife said, he's going to come back, he's going to win it. And as soon as he got escorted out with the gurney, I knew right away, yeah, he's coming back, and he's going to destroy everyone. And that's what he did. But what were you guys' thoughts on this match? Because to me, I actually dug the match. It was good.
I agree. This was a good main event. Totally. This match was good. Like you said, Brock agreeing, taking all these bumps, spear through the barricade, power slam through 2 announce tables, getting stretchered off. Like my brother even called this. That, yeah, Brock's going to retain the title because why they did the storyline to say he would leave if he would lose, just to build the match up even more.
Yeah.
I think the standout was Braun Strowman.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he was
the MVP.
Absolutely, man. He looked like an unstoppable force.
Oh, man, he looked like a beast.
Yeah, man. I think, with the performance he delivered tonight, I mean, you're probably looking at someone who's going to have a title reign soon.
Well, I'm itching now to see him go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar. That is going to be a fucking epic battle. Especially
they're predicting this for No Mercy. That's going to be Brock versus Strowman. Main event, No Mercy.
Now,
they're
I'm hoping that Brock Lesnar is willing to take the kind of bumps, not being sent through so many tables or whatnot, but like at least wrestle like we know he can. Put on a different style match than what we've been seeing from him, because he actually bent a little bit today to actually take the bumps. And at first I was thinking, okay, he's taking all these bumps. Maybe it's true. Maybe he is going to leave. Maybe he's going to lose because he's actually willing to take these bumps. Could it be his last match? So seeing him come back and then win it is like, okay, well, yeah, there's a little bit of surprise there. I kind of dig that. But, the brutality of this match. And it was, like you said, Braun Strowman all the way. I would have loved to have seen that monster walk out as champ tonight. That would have just been...
So would I. I would have loved to see... I would have loved to see Braun Strowman win it. And that's why they called him the Monster of Moment, because he is a monster.
No, it's,
overall though, this was a very good match. I don't know if for me personally, if it would top something like AJ and Kevin Owens, but
no.
for what it delivered, it was good and it was enjoyable. And like I said, Braun, I mean, he better have gotten some recognition backstage, man.
Oh, no shit.
He better have, dude. He just, and all the good things that are coming to him, he definitely deserves after the performance he put on tonight.
I definitely agree. And, to me, it was the best main event of the pay-per-view I've seen in a long, long time. The main events on their pay-per-views have really fallen flat as of late. And this one really picked things up. Now, like you said, it wasn't the same caliber of match that we've seen from AJ and Owens. But like you said, what they did, the body work they put in, was a lot better than what we've seen coming from some of these guys.
Well, the type of match they put in, it delivered. It delivered like it was supposed to.
Yeah. Now, was it better than NXT? To me, it wasn't, because almost every single match of NXT was just in your face and balls to the wall. But this one, like I said, I couldn't stay awake through like over half the show. And yeah, I was tired. Yes, I was. But I was tired when NXT was on as well. I got an hour of sleep that day, and I still stayed up through the entire show, except for the very first match. I missed part of that. Or no, most all of it. But other than that, I stayed awake because it was exhilarating. It was like there for you. This one, it was just, and then to see Shawn Michaels dressed up like Colonel Sanders, or what is that? Come out dancing around, and it's like, okay, what's this for? And they all of a sudden pull the camera away from him. So what was the point of it? It made absolutely no sense.
I had no idea that even happened.
Oh no.
No.
No, it was like first they did this little KFC promo with Big Show, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler. They were all dressed up like
I
Colonel
see
Sanders
that. Yeah, I
from
see.
KFC. And then all of a sudden they go to ringside. Not Triple H. HBK's music kicks in, and everything's lit up with KFC shit. And he's coming down dancing like in a white suit like Colonel Sanders, and the white wig with the white mustache and goatee, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Wow.
Like, and then I get informed by my wife that he bought 5 or 6 KFC branches. It's like, so that's why they're having this here? It's like, who the fuck cares?
Absolutely. I don't know why something like that would need to be on a show. Like SummerSlam, but for me, no, this SummerSlam was incredibly underwhelming, very lackluster, and just does not compare in the least to what TakeOver put on last night.
No, it's
for as good as a few of the spots, or for as good as a few of the matches were, like AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, like it still does not beat a show that did such a great job from beginning to end.
Exactly. I like I said, I got to watch that Johnny Gargano match because I want to really see what that match was about. I kind of hate it that I missed it, but it is what it is, and everything. But when you compare the two shows, you get hard-hitting action from the very start to the very end for NXT TakeOver, and then, like you said, lackluster throughout most of the show for SummerSlam. It just, there's no comparison anymore. NXT, I don't know. I think they need to go to 2 hours and really deliver, because I love what Triple H is doing there. I don't want to see Triple H on television anymore. He bored me as a wrestler. To be honest, I wasn't a big Triple H fan. But what he does behind the scenes is so much better than what anyone else is bringing us from the WWE product. He needs to stay doing that and concentrate on that instead of having these, matches at WrestleMania and that mean nothing.
Right. TakeOver for me kind of just opened my eyes to the product again. I was really into it for a while, way back, and then I just kind of slowed down and I stopped watching, quite regularly.
Yeah.
But I would tune in to certain pay-per-views, and then I would tune in to certain matches on the show, just if I heard, oh, these two guys are going at it on such and such day or episode, I would tune in just to watch that. But the show itself really opened my eyes to so much talent that I'm like, I need to start watching again. Like just every week, just watch from start to finish.
Especially now that they're bringing so many Ring of Honor and indie wrestlers involved.
Oh, absolutely. And Adam Cole being one of my absolute favorites. I mean, I'm definitely tuning in.
Now, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't caught much of Adam Cole's career. I know he was a hit in Ring of Honor. I know he was a hit in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was part of the Bullet Club.
Right.
But I really don't know much about him. But from what the little I do know, I want to see what he's going to add to NXT, and I know it's going to be good.
I didn't really catch too much of him back in CZW, but I did really catch a lot of him in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as well as New Japan and Ring of Honor. I mean, everywhere the guy went, there's just so much talent coming from this guy, dude. He's just really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. And I call this. I think it's going to be McIntyre versus Adam Cole at TakeOver Houston. That's going to be another money-making match.
Oh, definitely. And I kind of worry about that match because Adam Cole is so much smaller than McIntyre. I don't want to see Adam Cole look like a rag doll like Enzo, but I don't want to see that he's got...
No, Adam Cole's more famous than Enzo. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah, I understand that he's got the fame behind him, but I mean, like, the size comparison, is it going to look believable if he were to, say, get an upset on McIntyre without having help from his new buddies, O'Reilly and Fish,
Right.
Well, we're going to call it an end to the show. I'm going to ask one last question from both these guys. Rating on a scale of 1 to 10 for TakeOver, what would you guys have given it?
I gave it a 9.
I'm anywhere between a 9 and a 10.
Dang. Now, I didn't catch the first match, but I'm going to go with, I'd say 9 the most. I would, because I wasn't really disappointed with anything of the show, and what I did miss, I'm going to catch it again, and it's probably going to blow me away anyway. Now, SummerSlam, the same question.
I gave it a 6.
That's too generous. I gave it a 4.
Considering it put me to sleep through most of it, I'm giving it a 3. 3.5 just because the Kevin Owens and AJ Styles match and the final match, it just kind of just, peaked it a little bit. But the rest of the show, just like I said, fell flat. And I really hope they start turning things around, because I'm at the point where I want to stop watching Raw and SmackDown and just concentrate on the pay-per-views and NXT. And if I don't watch Raw and SmackDown, then I don't know any storylines going in the pay-per-views, so that'll suck too.
Right.
So, it's like you watch it and you suffer through it, or you just drop it and just stick with the pay-per-views and not know a hill of beans what's going on. I want to thank my two... What was that, Tyler?
That might actually be better.
You never know. Not knowing what's going on might actually make it more interesting. Who knows? But I want to thank both my guests, Tyler Black from Hit Squad Radio, Mark from Bomb Pop Overdrive. You guys are always welcome on the channel anytime, and I kind of like doing this, having you guys as guests when I do these reviews lately, because it just, the product just seems so bland to me lately. It's, having other guys talk with me about it seems more interesting to me.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. We need to do it. We need to do a round table where we need to talk about how we would definitely improve WWE the way how we would want it run.
Fire everyone except for the talent.
That's right.
That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. You guys have a good night. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and got your fix of wrestling. Now, here on Pillar to Post, we run Big Dog Wrestling. That is brought to you Monday through Wednesday and then Friday through Sunday. Hit Squad Radio also has Hit Squad Wrestling, as well as, I believe it's called Fire Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, we got Hell's Fury Pro Wrestling, Rapid Fire Pro Wrestling, and Free For All Pro Wrestling Wednesday through Saturday.
And you can find that on Tyler Black's channel. It is strictly just called Tyler Black. Also, check out Bomb Pop Overdrive's channel. He's doing a kind of a retro look back at wrestling through 2K17. I really dig what he's doing, because it really brings you back to the old school style of look, as well as the wrestling itself. I'll let you give a shout out to that, Mark, because you know the days you're airing.
Currently, we are releasing a lot of pilot episodes and matches. We're calling it Season 0 to kind of give the crowd an idea of what we're producing. But Season 1 should be starting sometime very soon. We're thinking sometime in September. We do have an event going on tomorrow, Monday, the 21st of August, which is a women's championship series. We've got a lot of the women in the on the roster for MPW, which is known as Midwest Pro Wrestling. So once we have Season 1, we are going to be airing every Monday about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's Pacific time.
Thank you very much, Mark, for that. And like I said, you guys already know about Big Dog Wrestling. I would have really appreciated if you guys checked out Tyler Black as well as Bomb Pop Overdrive's channel. You guys are going to dig what they're doing, because these guys are cool cats, and they keep their channel clean. There's not a lot of misfits on there, and you won't have the trolls as much, because we've got great mods on each channel taking care of all that kind of trouble, and you're going to enjoy yourselves. So you guys have a good night, and once again, thank you to Mark as well as Tyler Black, and I will catch you on the next review and on our next live stream of Big Dog Wrestling. Take it easy, everyone, and I will catch you soon.